Hello and welcome to the HIVE Thrive Hour number 32. Our guest today is Jarvie, and co-host today currently is Menno and myself, Shadows Pub, and we should be seeing Aloha Ed join us before too long. So, Jarvie, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's been a long time since you and I have chatted, so it'll be part catch up and
We
part
have,
let's explore.
yes.
So I was looking at your account, and it looks like you're hanging out in Utah these days.
Yep, I am in Utah. I used to travel a little bit more, but recently I've been kind of hanging out here a lot more.
And I noticed that you're also a photographer when you're not doing the hive stuff.
Yeah, I was full-time photography for 13 years, and now I just do it for friends and on the side and stuff like that, and do peak D and peak open
So
more full-time.
you really enjoy doing it, or you kind of got tired of it, and now you're happy to be doing the hive.
Um, I I don't know that I got burnt out or anything, but I'm glad to have something consistent and a little bit different. It's always nice to have a little change of pace a little bit. And now photography can just be something I do when I love.
Get to be fun. So do you have particular subjects that you like to photograph, or do you just kind of whatever catches your attention?
I'm really good at people photography, so I've done a lot of people, families, weddings, stuff like that. I did a whole big series on buildings and but I love travel stuff too, and going to new places and traveling and scenic stuff has been a big, huge interest, but it's not anything that's for like to make a living. That's just for fun.
Right. Some photographers really don't like photographing people, do they?
Yeah, and they get very stressed if it's like an event and it's something important, and they feel the weight of the event that gets them really stressed about it, and then I handle it pretty fine.
Yeah, I can understand that. I don't think you'd really want to be the photographer that messed up somebody's wedding event.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So.
understandable. I noticed Kitty Girl mentioned that you also like to hike.
Yeah, I have a lot of extracurricular activities these days. There's a lot of great nature around here, and then I'm pretty social. So I do like, I'll hike and I'll go canyoneering and I'll pack raft. And I play a lot of pickleball. And recently, and last 2 years I'm in Utah, which is known for skiing. And I just learned a little under 2 years ago how to ski and trying to get better at that. Just to, go with my friends, not to become like an expert or anything, but just to spend some time and
Just
dancing and a
getting
lot of
outside.
AI stuff. Yeah,
Well, yeah, that was a
it's not
question
extra,
that crossed
not
my
outside
mind.
stuff, but
How do you feel about I know there's a lot of artists and photographers that are really not comfortable with the concept of AI, particularly generative art. How do you feel about it?
my general sense is that I like it. Yeah. If I am working on a project, let's say it's like a music project,
Mm-hmm.
creating music, I feel the same feeling of creativity, but I know that I do it differently and I go way more into it. And it's not just like some simple, like, oh, let me do this little thing, kind of like phone it in. I think deeply. I create like a big system and I try to create things. It's still that feeling of creating. Now, as a photographer, I was more almost like a connoisseur of beauty. Like I could recognize when things were beautiful. I was photographing people. So it's like I could see, it, like I know where to put them and oh, I recognize, oh, this is a beautiful situation. Let me document. I was a documenter. And there's a couple different types of photographer. Those that wanted to, they had this vision in their depths of their mind, and the person became kind of uh, like a little model for them, that they could put them into this, like they were just that thing, like, let me bend this reality into the situation of what I'm wanting to create. Or they're deeply into Photoshop and recreating, like creating something that they had in their mind. And I think that's beautiful and it's amazing. And that's not what I was. I was a recognizer of beauty and a documenter. That's what that type of photographer. And I was very good at it. But so, like, I just love creating. And it's almost like you create a couple hundred songs, and it's like the taste. This, you were there to kind of bring in taste of, like, what was the good thing and how can I change it up a little to make it even better. So I love I love it. I love creating. Yesterday I was working on an album of music. I don't do as much in the art side of it. I don't like the whole, like, photographic art side of AI. Like, it's just, I don't have a huge problem with it, but it just doesn't appeal to me that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, meh. But like the art, painting, and maybe graphic design and all that stuff, I think is so cool. So
Yeah, I
cool, because I can do things with it. I can do things with it that I couldn't have done previously, because I can't. My dad and my many of my family members were artists, like painters, and like they could do that, but I couldn't do that. And over the years, I've had like things. Oh, I wish I could do this. I could do that. Where do I find the person? There's no one out there. Maybe no one out there in my budget. They're all busy doing something else, or they're not good. And so I'm not going to hire them like, and it's just like, oh, where am I going to come up with this money? Now I have to create a business plan to create this thing. And I just wanted something to exist, to make me happy, to make someone else happy. And, like, you don't have a business plan if it's just to make you happy, or five other people, or I'm going to create something for some girl. It's like, I'm not going to create a whole business plan and make thousands of dollars to create this thing that I'm just going to make for someone that I love. you know so
yeah,
now I have those possibilities, and it's beautiful, and I love it, and I spend a lot of time creating,
there's
even if
different
other people don't see it.
there's different levels of using it, isn't there? There's those that are really hardcore into it, and there's others that are kind of hobby level.
Yeah,
Kitty Girl would like to know, how did you manage to hook up with Asgard to co-create Peak D? We'll get there, Kitty Girl. So
yeah.
that brings me to, and I was coming to that anyways. I see you joined Hive on 2017. Um, how did you discover the platform?
Well, this, I'll link it up with her question as well. So I had a old roommate that was into Bitcoin, and he created a documentary called Life on Bitcoin. That was in like 2014, and so I was like, oh, okay. So I got a little bit of it, not like crazy amount. And then when it spiked in November of 2017, or maybe it was a little bit before that, I started to think about, would I be any good at this concept of day trading? And I started to research all the blockchain stuff. And so just watching YouTube things that I found mention of Hive. And I did a lot of social media. I was well known as a photographer, at least at that time. And I thought, well, I got lots of pictures, this whole social media, I know that. So maybe I'll go post there. You can make some money. Makes it, and then Asgarth was also into photography, more so at that time. And so we would interact a lot in the photography kind of realms of Steam back in those days. And then he said, well, I'm going to make my own little interface. And I was like, oh, yeah, because that's what blockchain is. There's no one telling you you can't do that. Okay, well, maybe you should. What have you ever thought about this idea or that idea? And he said, "Come help." And so we just did that, like basically making a platform that we wanted. It wasn't about any business sort of thing, just something, tools that we would really appreciate and enjoy. And that was for years until we finally decided, okay, maybe this could be full time. And then kind of migrated, well, like maybe we could make other tools. And so we made the Peak Monsters, and we started doing the Peak Open project of making open source tools that all of the platforms hopefully would use, including ourselves. So it's like, hey, Peak D could use this notification system or this chat system or this stat system. So, let's make it so that we could use it and other sites could use it. So like Hive Keychain uses the notification, and like eSensi uses the polling system that we help create. And, hopefully they all feel like they could jump in. And I was talking before we started a bunch with Menno, and he, is using, not that it's a huge system, but like an open protocols that Hive could allow for are just awesome. And hopefully, there's lots of us that can use it.
So I
Is
gather.
part of the big draw to Hive, not just like, oh, we have this unique thing that only we can do. We're going to create this system that so that everyone has to come to us, but like it's the users should want and love systems that many things use, because you know some of these programmers come and go, and you don't want to get too invested into something that 2 years down the line they're like give up on. You want like multiple
So I gather
projects
at the
working on
time
something.
that you and Asgarth had discussed PD, that you were
Hmm.
not a dev at that point. Was Asgarth, or did the two of you just
Yes,
decide to
he
learn
has
it?
been a very high level, amazing developer for a long time. He's one of those that got started when he was a kid, and he is just, I don't know, what maybe one of the best, at least in the user interface world. Uh, um, and he is very fast and efficient and amazing. And he's done all that. And I am not a developer. And, when AI first kind of came out, I dabbled and I'm like, nope, it is not there. It is not there. But, because I've been interacting with them and hearing their language of development and having to communicate with them for years. And then I tried maybe 5, 6 months later. Nope, still not there. And I think basically 1 year ago in December, I jumped in again. I'm like, is it there that I could maybe play around with stuff? And that's kind of around the time when I was like, okay, it's kind of there. And every couple of months, I feel like it's doubled in its ability to facilitate at least me being able to dabble into it.
So
And it's a
Jarvie,
different way of interacting than they do it.
that is for sure.
It's
DT DTD is asking a question that I've actually been a little curious on since we started. He wants to know: are you making
yes.
a horseshoe, or are you just hammering at something?
I am outside. I am actually at an AI conference in Salt Lake City. And so I went outside, I got my headphones on, and there's some people, um, how would you say, like hammering things into the ground to put
Ah,
like
that explains it.
lights on for Christmas coming up.
Right.
They're a little early. So, yeah.
I was curious
That's
about
funny.
it.
You can hear it, but I can't hear it
Yeah.
because mine are soundproof headphones.
Well,
But I guess the microphones,
I was checking
yeah.
the other people that there was no hot mics, and I thought, okay, something's going on in the background there. But since
No,
somebody asked, I figured I would
maybe
ask you.
I'll walk a little further away from them.
Pardon me.
I'll walk a little further away
Okay, yeah,
so you
that's
won't hear it.
gone now. It's gone now.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
walked further away.
yeah. So Asgard is the dev, and I'm taking it that you're kind of the public face of Peak D, or what is your role?
Yeah, I help with uh, figuring out our plans and helping write the posts and jumping onto podcasts or interviews and help with some of the business side of paperwork and taxes and payments and stuff like that, and helping when we have to do proposals and
Kind of clearing the decks and making sure that Asgard's able to go ahead and do his
uh,
magic, eh?
yeah. So there's definitely a lot of random things, and now I'm enjoying this concept of jumping in, seeing what I can help create myself instead of saying, hey, let's do this, and then a week later getting back in touch. I'm like, what do I do during the week? Like, let me do a bunch. So I like doing that.
I kind of get the impression that you're one of those people that you take an interest in something, you dive in and learn it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a
So,
good way of putting it for sure.
speaking of diving in and learning, Menno,
Yes.
I'm sure you've got some questions by now.
Well, I do. You said that you are not contributing so much with the code and whatnot, but do you contribute a lot with I don't know what you would call it, the project direction? Kind of like, hey, dude, why don't we do this and this button? Let's move over here and let's get rid of this. Let's add that. Is that kind of like
Yes.
okay? So what would you call that
Yes. So
position?
ooh, yeah. What would you?
Yeah,
Testing and like giving ideas and like like that's user interface. That's like UX direction, user experience.
I
And
think
then
I think in that
it's not just like, oh, how can I make this everything and totally perfect? It's also negotiating their time. I could give them a billion things and ideas of like, this is what everything I've wanted. But then,
yeah
it's like, well, how many other people care about it, and to what extent do they actually care about this feature? Like, if you were to ask a user, like, do you want this? Yeah,
yeah
sure, add that in for sure. Why not? They're always just going to say yes, almost. But given our limited, you know, two developer with me tinkering around on other projects, so like, what do you want the most? We could, like, so also I may do some of that, but a lot of it just comes from the chats, like our Discord chat and users saying, hey, I want this, I want that. It's very different
yeah.
than me saying, let's perfect this here and that. It kind of gives like extra confirmation that this is what the users really want. And sometimes it's like one user after 3-4 years of the site or the page existing that way, one user says, why don't you do this? And I was like, okay, but that was one user after 4 years. Do we actually want to do that? And then
Yeah.
Asgarth's just like, sure, why not? It's going to only take me, an hour or two. It's like, okay. So actually, there's part of it's like, he's going to do your guys's requests way more than mine. So to some extent, I'm like, I don't request quite as much. But when they do a new feature or new product, I'll go in and say, hey, let's change this wording. Let's maybe change a couple other small things around. The enemy of, like, what do they say? It's the enemy of good is perfect. Like, if you just wait until something
Yeah,
is perfect, it may never get done. And
for
let's
sure.
just get the ball moving. And if we get a lot of people way interested in this thing, we can keep iterating on it. As the snaps thing got more and more used, like we definitely had ideas like you could do all this stuff. Okay, let's not get too caught up in all that. Let's just create some things. Okay, now let's add a couple of these things in that people are requesting. Now let's add a couple more of these things. So
Yeah, in that sense, Askarth is not very common because most developers are not like that. I have in my life the best developer I know is my own brother, but and of course he helped me with Snappy. I don't think I would have been able to succeed without him, but
yeah,
due to the complexity of that project. But my brother has this thing, always had this thing where he would, if this is what best way I can describe it. I'm exaggerating, but just a little bit. Why do we need to make a front end for this? Just tell people to log in with the SSH into the terminal and run the command, blah, 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 and then pull the logs. Why do you? That's my brother.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
and I find that to be more common with developers where they feel like, I don't know if it's a bias. It's like, no, they'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. They'll figure it
He
out.
Asgarth has a really good sense of user experience.
Mm-hmm.
He also communicates pretty well, like very well, even though he's Italian, doesn't necessarily speak or like English is his second language, but he's amazing at it still and communicates with our users at times better than me because a lot of the users aren't English speakers, so maybe he kind of conceptualizes what they're trying to get at a little bit better. But he's
Well, that's pretty
amazing
cool.
and good at user like UI stuff as well, which makes him kind of an amazing developer. He's very like solid on his code and very good at it. So when I go and play on projects in a more of a sort of a AI vibe coding sort of realm, I have to make sure I'm not on projects that he does because he likes his code in a very specific sort of way. So
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, my brother gives me a hard time about that too, but uh, everybody's got their own way of working. But this dynamic between you guys, I think it's great. And it's also probably the main reason why Big D is such a good front end. Uh,
mm,
and I'm not saying I don't like the other ones. I'm just saying I prefer Big D 90% of the time. And I wanted to ask you because I know this is already kind of launched, but I want to know if there's going to be a push towards it or what is happening here because I I remember seeing it 3 or 4 months ago. There was going to be like a jobs kind of like a Fiverr kind of thing launched by
yes,
Peak
yes,
D.
yes.
Somebody, where are we at with that? Because I thought that was so cool.
It's it's great. It's open source. It's called Open Genie. It would take a lot of, like it's one of those types of things. It's like you can develop it, but you would need someone to almost take it on as like a business sort of plan and we're, that sort of thing. So
So
I was
it's
talking to
fully
someone, was that
functional right now.
it is functional. It is
See, I
based
wonder
on
how many
like you
years
got this
more about it.
metaphor of like you have a wish of something that you would like to see created, right? And so you have the wish granter, which is the genie. So open genie.
Yeah.
So you put out there like, I would love for this to exist, and someone else would answer that call. So yeah,
I
creating
love
it's
the
one
idea.
thing, getting it to be
Yeah.
super used is another thing. And that's actually maybe something that I could jump on and really focus on more. Like recently for me, I could jump on the chat system, so Steam Chat, and work on the UI total overhaul of it. Uh, So it's not a back end. I'm not touching the back end stuff. Just making that front end an 100 times better than it used to be. I don't know, 50, 40 times better. So because that's not a project that's an peak open project that Asgarth didn't work on, I can jump in on that. So
I really feel like projects like OpenGenie, well, Genie and OpenGenie, I just called it OpenGenie. I don't know if that's a name.
it is
Could be
OpenGenie.
could
Yeah.
be oh, awesome. Could be used very much for marketing because there's a I don't know what you would call it, a thirst, a desire, a hunger from people out there to find things to do online. I don't know how many times in a week I see somebody posting on Reddit, oh, I found a way to make some income.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure 99.9% of the world does not know there's this website. Of course, it runs on Hive where you can go and you can fulfill tasks and people pay you in
Yes.
Hive. I think that it's a no-brainer for me. So if we were able to
Yeah.
really push that out there, I think it would bring a lot of new users
Yeah.
to the block.
Well, I would. Yeah. If other people want to jump in on that concept or have
Yeah.
a version of their own on their site, I mean, that's great. Like, because if there's more and more wishes that are coming in onto their site, the hope is that it's an open system that they end up on our site, and we're not banking on that to be this big thing. We just felt like this is a great opportunity for Hive. Let's create the foundations for it.
This is awesome. Well, I have another question for you. Maybe it is something that you don't want to share, but I feel like
Mm,
at times like this, people need to feel a little bit of the hopium. Is there
hmm
something awesome you guys are working on? Is there something pretty cool that you guys are working on? Something you're excited about that you
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
maybe
yeah. And Asgarth is taking definitely the lead on this, and it's taking some time. And we got all of our other little distractions of all the other projects that we got going on, and there's the hard fork coming up, and we have to,
Oh yeah.
do some stuff on the site, and there's upgrades to Peak D that have happened recently as well. But the thing that I believe is the awesome thing is kind of this customizable communities, customizable blogs. I think will be exciting. I'm excited about it, and it also gives us an opportunity. The foundations of Peak D are 7 or 8 years old on technology, and so we're going to be able to do it on even more newer stuff, which doesn't mean that like the older stuff it's not possible, but it just makes it so things can iterate faster with the newer technology and just be a little bit, yeah, better in general. So you should be able to um, create a site that is uniquely kind of your own, or a community that has a look and feel that you want to bring people to. And of course, some of that stuff will still end up on all of the social things like Peak D and Sensi and stuff like that. But you could invite someone to whatever you guys have, Hive Thrive, and it's you guys, and it's heavily, you can moderate, you can make it look your way, you can be hivethrive.com, you have your own URL, and to some extent some of the people may not even know that it's what the technology behind it is. And maybe they get curious, and that's a cool thing. They're like, oh, what is this? I want to create something like this. A community of cats, about cats. Not of cats, but about cats or something. And they just have this forum or this place to blog, and everyone gets together, and yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, I just saw that Ed just joined us. I want to acknowledge my friend Ed. He's here. He's supposed to be the one co-hosting today. Of course, he's going to tell us all about it. What happened to his computer? Probably got eaten by a dog. But he got a new one, so now he's here. Ed, can you hear me?
Hey, I sure can, and I
Awesome, bro.
apologize. It is it is a municipal elections day here, and
Oh,
I've
wow.
been running around doing some local reporting and trying to encourage some civic engagement, and it just did not register in my brain with the change to daylight savings time that the show would not be starting 2 p.m. my time. It would be starting 1 p.m. my time. So,
Yeah,
Jarvie,
no,
I
we
am
kinda
so
assumed
sorry.
that's what's happened. Yeah, we assume I was giving you a hard time. We assumed that's what's happened. So we were chatting for a little bit with Jarvie already, and then Shadow said, "Oh, let's start," and then Ed will join the middle, and then you'll hand it off. And of course, I have no problem doing that. And I'm gonna do that right now. But that said, I'm gonna take my leave. Well, I'm not leaving. I'm just gonna get quiet. With one last thing, I want to make sure that gets asked by Jarvie. So this is kind of like my last contribution to the conversation. It's like, Jarvie,
Yes.
tell me if it is not exciting, the idea of light accounts, and tell me, you guys are already having a conversation about this, because I think honestly, the day we incorporate login with Google on any of our front ends, we are in it to win it. It is it is the thing, and then that the people can one day upgrade and get a full blown account. I mean, if there's one change in all of Hive that to me, and I think Stalkers is going to back me up on this one too. To me, would make the biggest difference is frictionless onboarding. Hey, log in with Google, done. On a 30-second explanation, a 1 minute process of downloading an app and logging in with Google, and then checking it out. And then some people will stay, some people won't. But that is the game changer. Tell me, you guys are already having those conversations. Are you excited about that stuff? What are your thoughts? And then with that, I'm going to take my leave, and then I'll let Ed take over.
Um, uh, I know that Asgarth is very interested in this. In a recent interview, he talked a lot about light accounts. I I would have more like of a discussion and questions for those that are like super excited about light accounts as to why they like them so much and what they're seeing as being the big benefits and of it. Like I'm very curious about that. So it'd be for me, it would be more of a discussion than just like my answers. Like yeah, I'm curious about which parts of light accounts that it's going to what it's going to answer for you guys that love them so much.
I think the big part is the simplifying signups on the blockchain because right now it's pretty intimidating for most people.
Well, okay, so you could just give an account. Why don't we right now give an account to anyone that comes in and uses sign in with Google? What are our reasons for not giving them an account?
I don't know that there's so much not giving them an account is that for them to sign up right now, they've got to wrap their head around first the process, and it's not easy. And secondly, why did I just end up with four sets of keys? And what are keys? And what do I do with them? That's the intimidating part for them. And that comes from having helped several people
Light
uh,
account would
get
not have any
accounts.
a light account would not have any decentralization aspects and no keys, or would
But
it?
it, my understanding is it would not have any decentralization aspect at the beginning, but it would serve to introduce them to Hive and get them into the possibility of actually going full blown
Oh,
and decentralized. That's my
I
understanding.
wasn't familiar with how that was envisioned. I thought there was still some sort of blockchain esque aspect to light accounts.
Well, ideally it would be, but I don't think that's feasible. Not with our security system set up. So it would have to be more of a introduce, participate, but not get the full benefits.
It's still an account though. There still has to be some sort of
Well, it's a lot
management
more
of the
complex than this.
account.
That's the
It's a lot,
challenge.
yeah, it's a lot more complex than this, but this is kind of the more or less what I understand. And they're saying in chat, and of course, there's a video about this. Block Trace was talking about it. Let's say that I have Snappy create these light accounts, right? And all of a sudden, people can log in with Snappy with their Google account. Then Snappy becomes the broadcaster of transactions, and these transactions are happening on a layer two. And then, for example, let's say that we invite Eddie to have a layer two account with Snappy. So his account would be Snappy Eddie, for example, and they're broadcasted through Snappy. So he cannot have real tokens. He's not going to have real tokens. He's going to have wrap tokens, if anything. But the idea would be that he would, as long as Snappy has enough resource credit, so the apps in this case, I'm using Snappy as an
So
example.
these
They could
these are accounts for you, for your app that you manage, that you're the
yeah,
centralized
it doesn't have
arbiter
to be.
of these accounts.
Yeah, the apps uh could uh could basically become the managers of these accounts. But these accounts can change also the manager. They can go
So
somewhere
you
else. They're
own
almost
all
like
these
the
accounts.
domain. Uh-huh. They're like the
You're
domain
the
of the accounts.
developer of tons of accounts, but they don't go like these users can't go from service to service because that's a big Hive account. For you, you just
No,
own a ton of
they can,
accounts. User,
there's going to be a way for them to switch domains, so to speak. So to start posting through somebody else, and they can get keys as well if they want to. There's a process. That's the idea. They're going to get keys if they want to, but these keys only work in layer two. They don't move Hive. They don't move HPD. And again, what Shadow said was to me the main thing. It's about
mm,
removing friction. You don't. You know what we don't have in Hive, and we don't have it. And I don't care what anybody says. We don't have content consumers. We don't have them. People here to come in because they want to make money. That's fine. I'm not
mm-hmm,
bashing, but it in many ways, and I think this is not controversial. If we want to make it in the SEO, like who, if have some high ranking, we need people that coming in and reading stuff. We need people who are like, hey, so,
mm,
and then maybe they want to leave a comment. They're not interested in making money. They just want to leave a comment. But for those
mm-hmm.
people, having an account, having keys, it's too complex. But if we have traffic to the websites, if we have all
All you
these,
just
and we up and
what you
mhm.
want is a system where that someone else is kind of managing the complexities of blockchain for them, like how we have banks that manage our money for us and take away a lot of the complexities of that. You just someone to take care of that. So light accounts
That's
are
a good.
still going to have some complexity, but you're still going to need to iterate on who's managing it, and there's less risk because there's no funds associated with it. Is that why we're okay with having a light account that is owned, almost
Yeah.
managed by someone else? There's keys got to be evolved, I would suppose, in some format.
It
Well,
almost sounds like a mechanism as sort of a gateway drug, right? Reducing the friction, and then I believe the underlying assumption is that that light account would then be able to be migrated to a full account. So a person
Mm.
could get a taste of posting on a decentralized network.
Yeah.
We could expand we could expand our net. So as we're out there
Yeah.
trolling the wide sea, hopefully we could capture some of these people who might want to come engage with content. And for me, going back where you were talking about breakout accounts, what did you call those accounts, Jarvie, or those
Breakout
sites?
websites we don't call them breakout or anything, just interfaces that they
Yeah, and
for
so
their
those
either for their blog or for a community.
yeah, so
Uh,
specific
yeah.
interfaces are able to appeal to a very specific niche of interest. I know you're a
Hmm.
photography guy. Probably within our audience, we have people who like certain games or certain anime, and it
Hmm.
seems like sites like that would make it easy to generate a community or a forum in a decentralized with a decentralized backbone, serving up content and allowing people to discuss that. And it seems like some form of light account that could be eventually migrated into a full account would be a good complement for that, right? So maybe you've got
I'm
the
hearing is that we want an experience where someone that's not going to be way into blockchain and have to, we don't want them to have to manage all these keys and know all this stuff, that they can just come to our sites and use them without a big, like, just use Google login or
yeah,
whatever else is a popular login, right? That's what you're wanting. It's not
to interact with the
that we
content.
have to have this be a light account. We want that experience. We don't want
Yes.
light accounts. We want that experience. Is that
We
how
want
should
we
I
want
understand it?
yeah, we want that
We don't care
experience.
that we don't give a hell. We don't give a crap about light accounts. We care about that experience, right?
Yeah, that experience, and hopefully, I think why people seize in on the idea of light account or being able to use some sort of pre-existing login is that it's as painless as possible for someone
Okay.
to poke their head in and begin interacting with the content here on
Yeah.
Hive.
Okay. Yeah. I believe and like that idea thoroughly of having a kind of gateway for users that don't care about blockchain and don't care about ownership. And they'll come in and then maybe eventually they're like, oh, I love this concept of true ownership. This is actually kind of cool. I just came in here to play this game or make a comment on my friend's post. And maybe some point I want to own some of this digital currency or something. So yeah, I think that's an awesome idea.
Cool.
I think I
We've
don't think
achieved
light
we've
account
achieved
answers it.
consensus.
I don't think light accounts answer that. I think they make it less risky so that another answer can be put on top of it. And now you have an account that doesn't have funds, that can't do all these things. And so now we can take and manage their ownership of this thing with a whole lot less risk. But you still have to develop that thing. I think.
Along those same lines, and I'm sure you think of this too because you're a builder and you're a serial builder and you're a content creator. And
Yeah.
everyone, regardless of what your financial motivations are, if you're taking a picture of something, if you're writing something, you want someone to have some experience from it, right? And so that requires users. We can't just code users. We've got to find them and capture them. Where do you see where are the future users of Hive that we haven't tapped into yet, in your estimation?
Future user of Hive.
Yeah.
I think that we need to find them places for them to interact with the people they want to interact with, and uh, you know, and not have to interact with all of us.
And I think that kind of points back to the customized communities you were talking about earlier.
We don't want them to ever have to bump into some of the people. Like I go on all of my social media and I am interacting with the people I want to. And I find the people I want to interact with, and I don't have to ever
You
see posts by other, people, and I
you
just kind of
you
have my
you
own
you
little experience. And maybe sometimes people run into my more public facing stuff and they say something. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. They came here because they wanted to see me. So
Maybe they shouldn't have to survive a flat Earth debate and buy a certain number of units of Lassie cash before they can.
They don't have to. They don't have to interact with some bot if they don't want to. They don't have to interact with the uh, Hive Watcher. Like just interact with who they want to.
That seems to be a common element. I see that even on legacy social media. People want to be able to curate and shape their own experiences, um, and it
But
seems
we do
like
have this whole elements to Hive, which is a reward pool. That is an optional reward pool that everyone thinks is not optional, but it is. It is optional. You can use it or not. But that brings everyone together. That puts everyone in a big pool together. And now it's kind of forced everyone to definitely interact with each other. What you do impacts all of us, kind of mentality, which is interesting and has been a thing that has brought a lot of us to Hive for sure.
you've been here since the beginning. What are what are the core elements? What have been the most durable elements of Hive? When we strip away the hype, we get right down to it. What are the most important things?
The thing I just talked about, I suppose, is that reward pool has been the enduring, ever since I've been around, has been the thing that has attracted the most attention, brought the most of us in, and has caused the most arguments and problems. But it is the thing that has also brought all of us, not all of us, but most of us in. And then, like this idea of true ownership, I wish was the champion. If you were to put you're fighting a war and you have to send out a champion. I wish that was more of our champion. It's still around. There's a lot of us that think of it first and foremost, I suppose, but it's not our public facing champion. It's not the thing that most people think about most.
Well, that is, let's not let that drift by, because there are active and will continue to be active movements all across the world by governments, government agencies, political groups to censor the free exchange of ideas. I mean, that's happening in real time right now, right? It's not even theoretical. And
Yeah,
and
but it's not happening to a large amount of people. It's happening to a smaller amount of people so that the people we want here don't feel impacted by it. And they're like, oh, well, that's not mine. But theoretically, that should be a big deal to them. Yeah, it's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to you, but all those other people that we want here.
like
But continue what you were going to say.
Yeah, well, I was going to give the example, my solitary example. I like
Yeah.
the idea of the rewards pool. If people find my content valuable, but for me, it's kind of tertiary. I try to
Hmm.
buy a certain amount of Hive, every month, and stake it away and work my way up through the through the
The
pauper
ranks.
ranks to the lower middle
Yeah.
class. Yeah. Not because I'm ever going to try and really extract value from that. That's not the point. If I can buy a little bit every month and stake away every a little bit every month, then I give. I'm hopefully, even if infinitesimally, um, buttressing the survivability of Hive out into the future, right? And so, why we may be concerned with something this year, depending on the swings of the market, or maybe somebody will all be excited about this token or this project, as long as the underlying technology exists, this free conduit for information between people, things can be corrected, things can be built, but the big thing is we don't lose the underlying mechanisms to me. And am I being overly idealistic about that?
You feel like you are?
I'm not. I'm not. It
Okay.
feels
Yeah.
I've seen so much change in my lifetime. I'm
Hmm.
gonna be 53 here in January, and it,
Yeah.
it feels like it's just been like somebody's been on had the foot on the gas my entire life. The amount of technological and cultural change I've seen,
Yeah.
and a lot of those changes haven't necessarily been good for our cognition and our relationships and the way we communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And do
Well,
you ever think of Hive like a time capsule?
yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's like, oh, if I post this here, it'll survive. The idea, the theory is to survive a lot longer than the stuff I post on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. That, if that company goes bankrupt, it's all gone. If Peak D goes away, all of the posts are still there. So, but if everyone stops caring about it, I guess it could also go.
Which brings us around to, I guess, again, the customized sites, being able to provide people an interesting and relevant experience, and then to the extent where possible, we're driving up with with the van and the candy, saying, "Hey, get in." you
Yeah.
know, yeah, luring people in, even if it's only a superficial layer, and then getting them hooked on the Hive experience.
Yeah. What if these communities are posting things that you guys or big whales are like, nah, I think that's junk. I don't like
Mm.
that. And then just downvote them. They'll just leave, right?
Yeah,
Oh, well,
yeah.
okay.
There
Done.
is there was always that hazard, and I know that that's created a lot of social friction. And I don't know if I have the great answer for that. Shadow pubs might.
Yeah. Why is that? Why does ShadowPub have the answer for that?
You just wanted me to relieve him for a moment, didn't you?
What do you do on Hive so much? Maybe you are the expert on this.
Actually,
Because I mean, we experience the user side of it, and then we see a lot of the complaints of like, I had stuff I wanted to post, and people on Hive didn't want it, so I'm leaving.
well,
And
I
they
guess it's
threatened me. They talked about how bad of a person I am for my content, and I'm gone now.
yeah, I've seen some people run into that, and sometimes they're the maker of their own misery, and other times they're just trying to post some content. Maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's content for them. So it does become a bit of a, you know, it's like art. It's subjective. Quality is always subjective when it comes to content. I don't know.
Yeah, so we can only have the content that we want on Hive, and everyone else go kick rocks.
Well, there lies the problem because the guy that's going to kick rocks may very well be posting content that other people like that they just haven't found them. I've often taken the attitude that it really doesn't matter what you're interested in. There is an audience, you just haven't necessarily found it.
Well, we need to, as Peak D's perspective is, we would love to see people using Peak D and Hive to to post and to their audience.
I agree.
And so much it's like, well, my audience doesn't own Hive Power, so, and apparently Hive is all about attracting people with Hive Power and getting votes and making money that way. So, but if you can post really good content that tons of people want to see, there's always, I mean, opportunities for meaning and money.
I think part of the problem is that some people come in with the concept that, oh, I'm going to go and post on Hive and I'm going to make a bunch of money. And some of
Mm,
that is because that's how they've been marketed to. And that's the
mm-hmm.
unfortunate part of it is if we could get people more universally come in and post content that you enjoy creating and share it with the world because it's still your content. And oh, you might make a little bit here and there, but don't worry about that. Just post what's fun. If we could get people into that mindset, we'd have a lot more peaceful community.
Yeah, yeah. But very, but we still have to protect, and I understand that concept, protecting the reward pool is a big thing. But it would
Yeah.
also be nice for Hive to be seen as a place to just put stuff that you want there.
So where do we find the middle ground, Jarvie? Where's the middle ground between somebody just trying to see how much they can drain out of the reward pool and
Mm-hmm.
somebody else just putting up something that maybe it's not your cup of tea, but somebody else might be interested in it? Where do we find that line?
Yeah. I'm supposed to have this answer.
Well, you can take a shot at it.
I'm the one that's like, helped create Peak D. I loved posting, and the joy just kind of like either not just from me, but experiencing the pains that other have had to come through. It's like I don't post as much anymore. The
Mm-hmm.
joy is like, and now I have to go like, oh, are they going to vote on this, or what are they going to think about this? And my type of content that I like these days is not acceptable to certain types of people. I posted in another account um, a project that I was passionate about, that I loved, and I was like, I think this needs to be here, not for all of you guys. I don't care about all of you guys for this content. I don't care if a single one of you ever looked at it or voted on it. I declined rewards. This was like for my friends, my family, and I posted it, and oh, it used too much AI. This we hate,
Mm.
Oh, okay. Well, this type of stuff I like. I like very deep content. I like very thorough, long sort of content. And I had a project. I was starting with it. Like, no, we don't like AI stuff here. Go kick rocks. Okay, cool. Let me create another website that doesn't use Hive, I guess, to host this content.
That's an ongoing battle on a lot of platforms. I also post over on Medium periodically. There's an ongoing argument over there about how much
Mm-hmm.
AI is acceptable. I think it's going to be happening for a long time.
No, yeah, I don't know what you mean by long time, but it's going to end up being where the best content, the most educational, and the thing that is the most stimulating is going to have a substantial amount of either AI writing or research or all sorts of stuff, and it's going to be the most invigorating things, and we're going to not have that here, and so people are going to go elsewhere and not to Hive. That's my hyperbole on the subject. Maybe I would have a softer position if I wasn't so frustrated. But like the best of research like very, very thorough research is happening in that space. And it's not going to end up on Hive. And people are going to want it. And so they're not going to go to Hive to see it.
I use AI a lot for background material for the material that I post. Um,
Yeah.
what I actually post is stuff that I've written, but the background material behind it is
Yeah. And you said that
largely
just so that you
AI.
can
Pardon?
pass the arbiters of Hive reward voting. Guys, it's not me.
To
I'm not
tell you,
doing it. Don't
to
throw
tell
the
you the
stones
truth,
at me. I'm not a witch. Don't burn me. Don't burn me. I'm not a witch.
to tell
We're
you the
all
truth,
doing it, but
Jarvie,
let me virtue signal. Let me virtue signal so that no, everyone votes my posts.
to tell you the truth,
Well,
I don't
what's
We all
really
do
give
it.
a
We all
shit
do it.
one way or the other.
Oh, you do.
The
We
post
all care. I
the
care.
the posts go up there every day, and either they can
Yeah.
believe I've written it or they cannot. I don't really give a shit
Hmm.
one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I've done. My attitude
Yeah.
with
You just don't
using
want the mob coming. You don't want the mob coming after you, just like the rest of us.
my attitude with AI written content is that it's like either good writing or it's bad writing. If it's bad writing, nobody's going to read it, so who cares anyways? And if
Yeah.
it's good writing,
Exactly.
then why not?
No.
That's my
No.
attitude with it.
Yes.
Jarvie,
I like
I'm
that.
actually
I like
intrigued
that.
now. I'm
I
intrigued.
like that. I want good content on Hive. I want quality things that people write, or I'm sorry, that people will read. That's what I want here. For for the world to come and go, we read good stuff on Hive, things that stimulate my mind or make me laugh or make me think. That's what I want here.
I'm intrigued now, Jarvie. Can
But
you give us a little
yeah,
bit more information? Because it sounds like you're being partially vague, but I can hear in your voice that you kind of feel personally wounded. It's like, man, I build stuff
uh,
for you guys, and I want to build something for myself, and you all hate it.
I
This
I
sucks.
could no no I don't. It's not for you guys even. Like it's I don't care if you guys read it, but I want to like if a friend's like, oh, that's really cool, this project you're working on, where can I go? I wish I could tell them, hey, I also made this site called Peak D. You should go here and read it, peakd.com/@Jarvie or whatever. Like this would be cool to give them a URL to this other thing that I created. But no, like because I've used AI to create something actually, you know, in the way that I wanted to create it. Can't go
Interesting.
here. I don't care about the rewards. I decline them, burn them.
Now, you've
But
declined rewards, and someone still had a problem with that?
yeah, Hive Watchers.
That's huh.
So
That's I have my own Hive Launcher story. My very first post,
yeah,
I was all excited. I bared my soul. I talked about some personal tragedy I had survived, and Hive Launchers nuked me from orbit.
yeah.
I was like,
There's
Why
so
am I
many
doing this?
stories. There's so many
Why am I
stories.
doing this?"
I understand that they interact with the underbelly of people that are trying to, uh, you know, unsavory characters that interact with the reward pool, and they're trying to protect the reward pool for all of us.
Yeah.
But to an extent, like stick with the reward pool stuff, dude.
Once it ventures out of that, you don't want to have you don't want to have those puritanical whatever Hive's version of puritanical means. Those practices apply to you.
Mhm.
I get it. It
and,
chafes.
and it's more than just for me. Like I look at it from a Peak D perspective. We want it to be a place where a lot of people from the outside world come and visit. If millions of people visited the site each day, we could have a really great business opportunity that could benefit, you know, so that we can have more employees to build more for you guys. Or we could return back to Hive. It's like, you know, like some of the funds go to us, but some go to burning Hive or towards, you know, helping raise the price of Hive. But we need eyeballs. We need good content.
Right.
And yes, there's other content like, hey, this is what I did today. This is what the person with, you know, 50 followers did today. Like, we want all those people here to have a voice to interact with the 5-10 people that love them, and that brings them meaning and great. But we need the other people that will write really good things that people are like, that I want to come back to every day and read their
My
thoughts
my
or
my,
their compilations.
my usage of snaps might, because I use snaps heavily.
Hmm.
My usage might horrify you because I engage in Wordle posting with other people who play
Mm,
Wordle.
yeah.
And then Mino made his mobile app Snapey, or I call it
Hmm.
Snapey,
Oh, you
to
do?
and so at least a couple times a week I try and post some Snape memes from Harry Potter, and
Oh, fun.
this is my contribution of content.
How does Mano think about it calling it Snapey? I'm sure he's probably fine.
But you've shamed me now because you've talked about these high level things,
No,
and
I tried
I'm
not to.
posting
I said
absolute rubbish.
this is meaningful to you and the 5-10 people that love interacting with you, or the 20 or 30, like, or 100. 100 isn't going to move. That's going to be super meaningful to you. I know that if I had 100 comments on my posts, I would post all the time. Like, that would be super meaningful. It won't impact Hive overall or Peak D overall to have 100 people coming and viewing my post.
Mm.
But it may, if there's million of us all having that experience, I guess that is definitely theoretically very much in the cards. Very meaningful. But
So, is there any SEO in the background on PT?
what do you mean by SEO? We do have a lot of visitors coming from Google for a lot of Google searches.
Okay,
Even though that there's no particular posts that are like wowing, like, oh, this is getting so many views. And you can go to Peak D and look at the most visited posts, right?
right.
The actual most visited, not the most rewarded, but the most visited. You can see, but none of them in particular are like super standing out.
So it is getting indexed,
But
which,
because there are millions of posts, like they all maybe one or two here on tens of thousands of posts. One or two visits on tens of thousands of posts is quite a few, and so Google, yeah, it does get indexed, and I don't know how many are sent our way versus Essensi versus Leo versus Hive Blog. I suspect a lot is Hive Blog as well.
yeah, we can't expect that it's going to be huge amount of traffic because we haven't got a huge audience. But the fact that
Hmm.
it's being indexed and that there are visitors coming from Google is itself a
Yeah,
benefit.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Google, and when you link on Reddit, and like there's some coming. The most is Google still, but some of those other ones still get a good amount. And think about it in this modern world, just as a thought exercise, not saying that I understand this all perfectly. The Googles are changing, and if they don't change, they're going to stop being used. A lot of it is going to go towards AI and the perplexity and the search aspects of AI. That's where it's all going to go. It's not going to be like they randomly stumbled into Peak D, like, unless we have it. But what is the AI wanting? They want like expert sources on concepts, expert sources on how to do things, and people like sharing good, like, expertism. And so if we have a lot of those content in Hive, then all these different AIs are going to look towards Hive as a place to source this information that they're going to give the users.
Yeah, that is the up and coming thing with search is GEO, the generative engine optimization. It's not a big thing yet,
Mm.
but it is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see what develops there. So we are well past
So
it.
I have a question for you. What is that like a AI system? What are they going to come to Hive to find, like, oh, Hive is the best source for X? What is the X? What are we the best source?
I would say at the moment, probably,
Splinterlands.
yeah, Splintered Lands, although Splintered Lands is available on other platforms. Menno says memes of Menno. I don't know that too many people are looking for them. I don't know that there's actually anything you could point to at this point in time.
We're the best source for. We post a lot of blog posts about projects that are built on Hive, right? If
Mm-hmm.
we build a project on Hive, like Splinterlands, like Three Speak, we post, or like Peak D or Peak Monsters, like the best way to find out about that project is on Hive, right? So.
It's very self-referential content, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Yeah, to a large
stays
extent.
stays in a tightly bounded circle. I was going to say, I
And
think
it
at
would be
one
so
time,
cool if we were the place that everyone like to
So
like put content, even if it's not super read by you guys. Like, it could still be a beautiful place to have it, so that these, what'd you call it? I like that. GEO, is that what they're talking
gen-
about these days?
generative engine, or yeah, generative
Optimization.
engine optimization.
So when you see that sort of really cool content, think, this is good for Hive, because it's going to end up being, that's going to bring the eyeballs through search engine or through, generative engines, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So we are actually past our usual hour. I do
Yeah.
appreciate your patience today with our little mix up on time. And Ed, I'm glad you made it in.
yeah, yeah, I'm going to be thinking about Jarvie's pain for a bit, and I laugh
I
because I
hear that the witch is dead, so I may start posting my projects, but it's not for any of you guys. I just, there's
yeah,
these historical type podcasts that look at ancient traditions, and I am fascinated by them. The really old, like 5,000-year-old traditions that talk about them, and they look at it from different perspectives. They find similarities between them, and there's this pseudo, like, anonymous person that has created this podcast, and I liked it, and I was putting in. I was like, okay, the I want to do a whole series kind of like about that. And the first one was taking the, like, YouTube transcript type stuff, which is horribly formatted, and like reformatting it. And I know that my friends and family are like really interested in being able to read it, but you can't read that transcript. It's terrible. And you can't use it and put it into, I guess you could use it and put it into AI to ask questions and to interact with it, because that's what we do these days. It's like,
Notebook
I'm
LM.
not telling you what to think. And so you could, yeah, Notebook LM, I love it. I use it. I put it into that and create my podcasts with it. And then I put that into that project as well. A lot of it, Notebook LM stuff. But it's like, maybe Hive's not the place, to to put good stuff. We just want it to be memes and cats and
Oh,
self-referential stuff.
I think you're being a bit of a cynic there. Give it a whirl.
I am. I am. I am.
So,
I am.
Jarvie,
Definitely on purpose.
last week I was guest on a podcast, and the host asked me a question after the recording was off that I'm going to ask you before the recording is off. Is there
Yeah.
anything we didn't ask you today that you would like to tell us?
Yeah. I want you to ask me what cool open peak open projects that I am helping work on. I'm really excited about the revamping of the user interface for chatting. It's like a Discord on Hive. And I know that a couple of sites have integrated the Steam chat, but it was pretty painful to use to some extent. And so I'm hoping that I'm lessening the pain and increasing the beauty of using it. And I don't know
Okay.
if it'll ever replace Discord because we're so enmeshed in Discord, but at least we have an option on Hive.
So
And
that's
hopefully we get that on to Peaked and a couple of other sites, the new upgraded UI soon.
hmm
So I'm done with most of my work, and so now we just have to figure out how to integrate the widget.
so you're involved in that. Anything else?
Oh, that's my big involvement,
That's your baby.
my little side project right now that I got assigned to.
That's your
So
baby. Ed, any final questions for Jarvie?
Well, I would just encourage him if that wound has scarred over to
yeah. Well, it's also amount of time. I've got so many random projects. I'm doing a album release to like Spotify and the rest of the things. Hopefully this week.
interesting.
And
What genre?
love songs.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah,
Just an old-fashioned love song.
just an old-fashioned love song. Yeah.
But yeah,
I, yeah.
when you're so inclined, I would encourage you to post that again. If you post it, I will read it and I will give you a cogent comment.
Oh, yeah, I don't, yeah. Well, they're, I don't know. Okay, I don't, you may like it. Who knows?
we'll leave him. We'll leave him cogitating on that. How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we promise not to Sparta kick you into the abyss. How about that?
Mm,
That's,
mm. Yeah,
that's
I
All
I
right.
literally wouldn't concern myself because it's not reward pool related, but there is the concept of the Hive nodes will not present your information
mm,
if you go below a certain reputation.
reputation. Yeah.
And if certain groups, there's just people that follow downvotes. So
The gang mentality. Nothing like it.
yeah.
So
So I don't
with
care if the reputation is 25 forever, like or whatever. It just needs to be above the amount
so
where the Hive nodes will present it so that
with
I could send a link to a friend and say, go check this out.
perfect. With that, this gang will wrap up for today. Thank you, Jarvie, for being here. Thank you, Ed. Glad you
Yeah,
made it in. And Menno, thank you for jumping in, and we got it all worked out. And next week, I believe, is it Living in Taiwan is the guest?
nice. I love her.
I think,
That sounds correct.
I hope I got that name correct. So that will be next week at 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UTC. And with that, thank everyone for being here today, and thank you to anybody who's listening to the recording. Bye for now.